Hello and welcome to Storyboard. This is Shibani Gharat. We are bringing in the new year with some of the best conversations that we have had in the year gone by. And I must admit that some of the most memorable and interesting ones have been with a few celebrities. First up, my favorite, Shah Rukh Khan. He called this meeting of ours, which happened on the sets of a shoot for Hyundai, our second date. And I'm glad that after this, I didn't forget my set of questions to him. Well, on this date, we spoke about how he chooses his brands, how involved is he in creating brand stories, and does he look at himself as a communicator? Let's take a look at this chat to find out more. Not everyone is lucky enough to have their favorite star on their show not once, but twice within a span of 12 months. And guess who the lucky person is? Well, hello and welcome to Storyboard. This is Shibani Gharat. And in this special edition, special show of Storyboard, we have Shah Rukh Khan with us yet again. Shah Rukh, so good to have you on our show again.
Thank you, Shivani. Our second date on Storyboard, so it's fun.
You've signed so many contracts, done so many ad films, endorsed so many brands. Tell us about the first ad film that you worked on, the very first.
Very strangely, it still is a part of me. I don't think I'm professionally or commercially signed with them. But Tata Tea was the first big one I did in Mumbai, which again did a campaign for me. I don't think it was commercial, where they kind of requested me to name, put the girl's name first in all the titles. It's about small changes.
That was quite recent.
Yeah, but after I did it, they didn't use me for a long time. And many years later, they just kind of, during Chennai Express, so 5 years ago, I think Balki was making it, and he said, I'd like you to do this gesture, so which I did.
And what about the first one?
First, I think, was a shoe company, Liberty Shoes or something. And then this road safety film. This was in Delhi, when I hadn't even done television then.
Okay. Considering, celebrities and endorsers are receiving so much flack for the brands that they endorse or the brands that they are associated with, what is the filter that you personally apply when you are signing a contract with any brand?
I think the 2-3 things that you can always apply, and even then fall short of what people have to say. Everybody's got a point of view, and you can hear it and respect it. It does not change your life. I used to have a simple rule that it's legal, it's out there in the market, and you want me to sell it, I will sell it. Yeah. The simple thing is, my rule of thumb is, I can sell everything except my soul. And I know deep inside that I'm not selling my soul. It's a product I think is all right to sell because it's in the market, it's legal, and above board. A few years back, I think some of my actresses friends started telling me, but you can't do these products because is it fairness creams? No. I think it was more to do with alcohol and cigarettes. And they said, don't do it. It's not nice. So I said, okay, I won't do it. I understand. Because somewhere, I think more often than not, people, if they get used to seeing you for so many years, I think they start expecting better even if you're doing your best. They think of you in a light which you didn't mean to create or necessarily are that. But say I'm basically good. But people start really expecting even nicer things, whichever they think personally are nicer. Maybe you don't even think that. And I think somewhere you have to start realizing I am being given much more import than I really stand for. And okay, then yeah, like I've been saying this in every interview. There's a little kid who called me SRK, 7-8 years old. If he knows me like that, and if I am selling something which is harmful in the long run, what does it stop me from saying, okay, let's not do this here, just in case it doesn't make a difference. Having said that, I'm okay, my son watching it. But that can't just be the justification, So I can't just say, let's do it, my children. My children know I'm an actor, Maybe it's a different space. So perhaps I'm not clear about it, but the filters are strong enough. So I wait and weigh, and I have opinions in my own team. I've got a lot of girls and boys working with me, hundreds of them. It's okay, don't do it, yeah. If you guys don't want it, let's not do it.
Are there categories that you consciously stay away from?
They would be, the ones I mentioned, but not necessarily. I think some of them don't come to me only. I think there are some categories that just stay away from me. I'm too good for them. But there are 2-3 things only, which are kind of not right, I guess, to be selling it. And I think I'm liked a lot by children. So maybe the categories are a little wider for me than others. And I don't think I've done very many of those, So yeah, maybe alcohol, though it's sold and everything, and cigarettes, of course not. So yeah, those ones I've stopped doing.
You've done theatre, you've done films, you're doing ad films, you know, you own businesses. Do you consider yourself, or have you ever considered yourself as a communicator? The medium doesn't matter. You're just good at everything. Even I've seen you in your interviews, and I've heard you speak.
You know, Shivani, I think over the last 25, 30 years, I'm a very shy person. I don't interact with people. Socially, I'm quite inept. People don't believe that when I say that. Even at home, I'm quite, I'm reclusive by nature. I just have my set of people that I will talk with. But I think over the years, I've had the opportunity, the great opportunity and good opportunity of hearing so many point of views and hearing so many people talk such nice things and wrong things that somewhere naturally it has imbibed in me to further that. You don't have 30 years of goodness in one life to one person. So I hear so many, I meet such wonderful people because of who I've become. So I need to share that. I'm sitting, sometimes even the story writers or the leaders or, gurus and some kids, they're saying things and I'm like, I need to share this with the world. It's really nice.
So are you a storyteller?
I think I'm a storyteller, yeah. More than a communicator. What I want to communicate or tell a story, mainly I do through my films.
Yeah.
But beyond that, if I'm called upon, like a TED Talks or say at Yale or somewhere where I think young kids would like to hear what I have to say, I don't presume, I'm not presumptuous that, everybody would like to know my story. No, I don't think so. But I think there is an audience that may not mind my story. And I like to tell them a story in the most interesting way, whether it's a TED Talks or I'll make it funny, I'll make it sweet, and hope they take back something to know. A good life begets a good life.
What, according to you, is the best story that you've told?
I think every film of mine, I believe, is a good story that I tell. Sometimes a lot of people don't think so, and they shut the book. Okay. Sometimes, some of the average stories, people love them so much that they ask for a sequel. So I think the storytelling is through only the books. My storytelling, I think the nicest stories I tell are through my eyes when I'm acting in a film. The rest of it, I don't get so many opportunities. Maybe if you know me personally, yeah, I've got a lot of funny stories to tell. I can make everything funny, including things which I feel are wrong upon me. I will tell them funnily. I have a sense of humor, which I don't exercise too much now on social media, etc., because people jump on you too hard, and I'm all right not expressing that. But I think, yeah, the best stories I tell through my eyes when I'm seeing it in a film. Sometimes people get it, sometimes they just don't get it now. And it's not their fault, it's my fault.
So in an era obsessed, where brands are obsessed with storytelling, what would be your tip to the brands?
I'm a big believer, especially with Hyundai now, because we've had a long successful run, that instead of making the star of a film a product, can we just tell a story around the star? And I think some people are able to do that with me. Some people don't have the time or the money to afford me, so they want me to sell it straight. Yeah. 10% off on Diwali. So that's okay too. I mean, that's a story. Maybe sometimes to some people it's a better story that, listen, we're getting 10% off on Diwali. But I've done some ads which are great storytelling. I think there was which one did I like? Some of them are vague and different. They're not around the product, and they don't. And I'm saying they use me as a star.
Yeah.
More subtle.
I quite like the one that you had for Dubai tourism.
Oh, that was lovely.
Amazing.
That was lovely.
And the reaction was
yeah, it was real, and I really thought it won't work.
Yeah.
But it did. Yeah, that I think is one of the best ads I've done in my career. Yeah.
So you own businesses. You have Red Chillies Entertainment. You are owner of an IPL team, Kolkata Knight Riders. Has owning businesses changed your perspective on the businesses that you work with?
Not at all. My philosophy is business, I think, is not something most people follow. And I'm very clear the reason I do business is very different from most people, and I think they're righter than I am. I do it because nobody else would do it. Now it's very difficult to imagine IPL not being bought at that time, but nobody was buying it. I couldn't afford it, but I just went because my children like sports, and I want to have. I've always said the things that I like are sports and cinema and children. I even say now, 3 C's, cricket, and cricket mainly for sports more than even cricket. I like sports, and cinema and children. These are the 3 C's I go by. Any business related to any of those 3, I jump into it.
We have seen you do a couple of ad films with Gauri Khan. What is it like working with her in ad films?
It's the most...
is it different? Is it challenging?
It's the most scary, difficult day of my life when I shoot that one day ad for Deco. Because exactly like how I am, Gauri is completely opposite to that. When it comes to punctuality, timing, propriety, getting the job done and moving on. So I think, and I would like to thank all the people who work with me, that they allow me a little bit of tardiness. That instead of coming at 9:30, I'll be there at 11:30, 12, and I still finish the work. But that ad, I have to be there earlier than anyone else, because she reaches at 8:30 for a 9 o'clock shift, and it's horrendous. It's the most difficult. I'm like, early in the morning, and it's never been, I've been working for years, it's never been, I better go to sleep, I have to get up early. I'm awake till 4, 5 and go for shooting, and I'm quite a maverick like that. But when we're shooting Decor, I have to be at my best behavior. I have to also not make her wait for anything. Here I can do an interview, just hang around, talk to friends, chat. So yeah, it is very difficult, and in spite of all that, I think they make me look really cheerful and happy in all that. And they had a very clear directive that we sign you only because you're a husband. It's not the other way around. So that's the only ad I do as second lead. But I'm happy that it turns out well.
From one charming endorser to another. Up next, we have a conversation that Storyboard editor Anant Rangaswamy had with Anil Kapoor, where the actor spoke about how he connects with people and with brands. Let's take a look.
Anil, thank you for talking to us. To begin with, tell us, why did you choose Micromax?
Well, I think it's a, which is a brand which is, innovative. It's Indian. It's growing. So, so that's one of the reasons I chose it. I think they chose me more than I chose them.
So why do you think they chose you?
Ask them.
I will ask them. From your perspective, why do you think they chose you?
I think somewhere, there is a certain kind of a connect of, because, how this country is a, massive country. It's diverse. It's got so many demographics. And somewhere they feel that I connect with everybody, and I connect with the families, which is important, and somewhere I feel connect with the youngsters also. Keeping all these things in mind, so because of the entire country being, there are different parts of our country, but I'm known because I've been working since many years and been reinventing myself, as people say, and been fortunate. That this is my 4th decade in films,
right.
And so somewhere I connect with people for 4 decades, so something must be there.
When you're given an offer to work with a brand, what is the most important criterion for you to say yes or to say no? What is the most important criterion?
You see, it's like films only, when you come up with what you see in a film, you see who's making it, who are the, who's directing is, who are the writers, the entire team, and has he proved himself in the past? And if he's proved himself in the past, if they are, they've been consistent and been successful, so they must be doing something right.
Right.
And if it's non-controversial, then it becomes even easier, And I said, and that's the way we do it. So, and this brand has been growing rapidly in the last 5 years. And it's an Indian brand, and I think the past people also who were associated with the brand have been very successful and respected brand ambassadors who are connected with this brand. So that also makes it easier for me to connect with it and get it associated.
Perfect. I hope this works well for Micromax and for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It is time for us to slip into a short break. On the other side of this break, Hrithik Roshan discloses how, if you can imagine it, you can make it. And also, celebrity chef Sanjeev Kapoor talks about how chefs have become a hot property for brand endorsement these days.